During these 2 weeks between 8 and 10, I mainly focus on the shader and the post-processing, and also the interactivity. Besides of these, I also refine the soundtrack as well as the animation to improve the experience of the games. In order to improve the feeling of contradictions in these scenes, I redesigned the shader of post-processing. I have learned this shader from a YouTube channel. To compare with the other shader in my project, it rendered the textures on the surface of the entire model instead of the player camera. After I render the shader, I wonder how the combination of 3 color channel and current shader looks like. It's really chaotic. Thus, I want to generate the shader in this scene to display the significant confusion and return back to normal after 1 second. I'm not quite sure how to implement random times through coding. Therefore, each monitor will have different transitions time when the transition shader happened. Some shader timing performs faster and the others slower. Some monitors will have a high frequency of transition, while the other will have lower frequency. To present the effect of poor scenes signal, I have combined glitch effect with the screen shader. Some monitor will display pixelations. As a result, the scene creates a strange and eerie feeling for the players. Since the players start from here, they won't have a clear understanding of the current state of the monitor and may not be able to see the display image clearly. However, as the player progressing, they will recall the image from the screen because they will start making connections between the previous scenes and the current scenes. Before focusing on the refinement of animations, I have learned Maya Lifelink during these 2 weeks. As I was looking for help to solve the import animations to Unreal from Maya, at the start, I tried the Maya Lifelink version 2. But because of the incompatible issues that relate to Unreal and Maya, I'm looking for help on the community and game club. One of the students says that the current plugin doesn't support the current versions of Maya and Unreal either, which is kind of sad until I found this. I download the versions and install the plugin into Maya 2023, as well as the project file, which is important. And finally, I successfully installed Maya Lifelink. I thought the rest would be fine. However, when I was testing the object, it doesn't present the curve as the object in Maya. So I test one of my objects by importing a ChatG animations. The wave animation looks well. I suspect that it will work well if I import letters as a ChatG animation. It works really well, finally. Since I have saw the issues of the ladders, I started to design more ladders as the creepy animation of ladder produce a feeling of sensitive, which is uncomfortable. I designed the path of the ladders marked by different colors with 3 perspectives, and I create animations in Maya according to the layout. During the process of design, there are some issues which is unexpected, but they produce a really good effect. These weird effects are what I want to try. I tried to delay the twisting effect as I didn't apply that effect on the model, but the effect enhanced the feeling of uncanny. In addition, there is a glitching effect happened on one of the model, which is another accident. I want to delay that effect at the moment, and I don't know how the error happened. After I designed the glitching shader in Unreal, I leave this area and it performs in an uncanny style. Besides of the walking and jump, I have done a ton of refinement to improve the experience. In terms of jumping functions, I changed the gravity of the games as I want to highlight the feeling of the dreams, which losing the gravity. However, as the character in the project perform a slow dropping movement, which is too slow, I returned the gravity to default value and changed the power of jump, so player won't floating in the air. This scene is located at the end of the corridors of monitor room. This idea came to me recently because the number of assets in my project has been increased. They make my life difficult to find each of them. I want to highlight the scenes that I collect all the exercise in one places to highlight the idea of messy. Player will be curious why there are so many exercises piled up here. It will be gradually create a sense of uncanny. Additionally, this brightness will affect the atmosphere of the main corridors and convey a unsettling feelings. As players need to find a way to live the dream, I have to add a meaning for this exercise. I add glitching shader to each exercise, but the exercise will be trigger the effect once character close to the sign. The exercise will vanish after a second, because the only way to live the dream is to jump into the abyss. The exercise are the illusion and return to the collection rooms. I redesigned the exercise after the play test. Instead of glitching, I use gravity, which is the exercise will drop once player close to it. Glitching might be too exaggerating to highlight the feeling of uncanny, so I changed the interactions for the exercise. As the project displays a dream scene, players need to jump into the abyss to leave the games. It shows the character back to reality. Therefore, to highlight the feeling of dropping and leaving the games, I'll use the glitching effect to control the camera. Once the character drops into the abyss, the blur glitching effect will display for 3 seconds before leaving the games. In addition, there's no UI for player to control the entire games, as player can't control the dream. In a surveillance room, I designed a function for this surveillance, which is entire surveillance will always face the characters. The tracking presents a sense of reality. Also, the uncanny feeling has been produced as the silent atmosphere and the watching surveillance to improve the feeling. Since I have changed the function of the exercise from glitching to gravity, I have to redesign soundtrack. I focus on the metal hitting soundtrack as the exercise will hit on the floor once players interact with them. I'll record the metal hitting sound in real time and add it in Audition. Using echo and sound reverb are the key to highlight the empty and uncanny spacious room. In addition, I create 5 different metal soundtracks because I want to randomly generate these 5 sounds in Unreal. In terms of the glitching soundtrack, I find a few of glitching soundtrack in free sound website. There's no need to improve this soundtrack as they're already being chaotic. And I don't want to display echoes and atmosphere effect for this soundtrack because I want to display a feeling that the glitching soundtrack is around the player. There was an issue related to the soundtrack, which it can't change the sound effect, where player is collided with different material. However, once I found a function called physical material, it can identify the physical features of the object.
After implement the physical material to water stream and the room, the character currently has two different footstep sound. The one is the default foot soundtrack, and the other is the one when character walk on the water texture model. As memory leaking decreased the experience of the gameplay, I need to figure out before exporting the games. After searching for the solutions, there is a setting which is one of the simple approach to figure out the issues. In the Unreal Product setting, by changing the graphic from epic to high, the system doesn't present memory leaking anymore.
I'm very engaged in these 2 weeks as it's very productive. However, I need to polish the effect of shader and interactivity, as improving the connection provides a better playing experience. I haven't polished the lightings, so lighting is one of the key elements to enhance the feelings of uncanny. Therefore, the only thing that I believe it is important is the lighting, as lighting doesn't bring a strong feeling of uncanny in the scenes. Furthermore, the final works need to be playable. I need to figure out the testing to make sure that there's no any bugs in the game, and polish the interactions to provide a good playing experience to players.